Hey, welcome back. I hope you've been thinking about the last screencast and in particular the types of information you want to capture for every song in your database here or in your catalog because that's what we're going to work on now. Okay, so I've been thinking about a few different types of information I'd like to capture for every song. Maybe my ideas are different than yours, but follow along and we'll see what we can do here. So we want to alter the actual blueprint for the song content type. So to do that, we need to click on structure where all the fun stuff is. Click on content types, and here we go. We've got our three content types here. Here's the new content type we just created called song. And now what are we going to do? We want to talk about the different buckets. We want to set up different buckets of information for the song. And so yeah, we're going to need to click on manage fields. Okay, so this isn't anything new except that these fields look different. There's not a lot of fields here, right? Right, there's body, okay, and we haven't really figured out what body is yet. But here we actually have the opportunity to add new fields, okay? And so now we get to answer the question, what new fields or new buckets of information do we want to add to our song content type? We already have the song title, okay? I'm going to say the first thing I want to keep track of is I want to know who is the songwriter of this song. That's actually really important to me. So I'm going to write songwriter. I'm just going to invent a new field called songwriter. And now what I need to do is I need to determine what is the field type. And all that means is what type of data are we going to store in this bucket? Okay, and we have a couple different options. We have more than a couple. We have like a dozen different options here. What are the options? We've got Boolean, decimal, file, float, image. Okay, some of these make sense. Some of these you might be like, what? What's a float? I don't know what that is. Well, this one, unfortunately, is really easy to answer. Songwriter. Okay, how would you store that information? Okay, it's not a number, obviously, right? It's not an integer. Okay, it's probably not going to be an image. Okay, so what do you think it is? This is actually just going to be a text, okay? Because you're just going to type out the name of the songwriter. Long text is more for paragraphs of information, but just regular text, that's if you just want to enter in data in a line. So I'm going to go ahead and click on text. The widget that is going to be used to enter the information is just a text field. And widget, by the way, for in Drupal's case, all this means is the mechanism by which you're going to let users, and by users I mean the users on your website, your actual the people who have accounts on your website who have permission to add new songs on your website. We're not talking about just general site visitors here. But this is how users like you or like any data entry people will be able to enter data. The way that they'll be able to type in the songwriter name will be by using a widget called a text field. You only have one option here. That makes it really easy. In most cases, you only have one option. Sometimes you have a couple different options, and it's usually fairly intuitive to figure out which one to use. In this case, we only have one option, so we can leave it at that. Let's go ahead and click Save, and let's see what happens now. As soon as I do that, now Drupal will walk us through a couple settings that we need to determine for each songwriter instance of the songwriter field. Okay, the first thing is Drupal's asking us, okay, well, what's the maximum length for this particular field? What's the most number of characters we can write in here? 255 is going to be fine. That's the default. I tend to just leave it at that because, hey, I don't know of any songwriters who have a name longer than 255 characters. So I think that's going to be fine. I'm going to click Save Field Settings. Let's go to the next page here. Now we have some other decisions to make here. We need to decide whether or not this is a required field. Okay, and this is going to have an impact on the people who are doing the data entry for your songs, whether it's you, whether it's somebody else. This is going to determine whether or not they are allowed to leave this particular field blank. If you insist, if you absolutely want to insist that they have to include a songwriter for every single song, then you should click required field. If you don't want to, you can leave it blank. I'm going to leave it blank for now, okay? But you can leave it. You can make it required if you want to. Help text. What does this mean? Okay, these are just instructions that you're going to give to the user, so that to help them input information into this field. And you might think, well, what kind of instructions do I have to give? I mean, it's the songwriter's name, right? Right. So we say, write the songwriter's name. There we go, okay? And maybe we want to specify first name first, and then last name. How's that? Okay, maybe we want to specify the order. Because, some people might think, oh, do I have to put the last name first? No, no, no. So there, you've given a specific instruction. It's good to be specific here, okay? Size of the text field, this just kind of indicates approximately how big the box is going to be, whether it's plain text is fine, okay? Do you want to put a default value in here? No, we're not going to put a default value in there. We're just going to start with an empty value. Hey, we've seen this before, haven't we? Number of values. What do you think this means? When was the last time we saw this? Well, we saw this when we went to edit the number of images we could associate with an article, remember? And so in this case, if we think about this, what does this mean in this context? Well, let's think about this. I'll give you a clue. How many songwriters can you have for a song? You can have an unlimited number of songwriters, right? But if currently the way it's set up is that it's only going to allow us to enter one value here. And we'd like to be able to include lots of different songwriters, right? As many different songwriters as there are. I'm going to go ahead and change this to unlimited. We could put just 10, but I'm just going to leave unlimited because, if we pick 10, chances are you're going to get that one song that's got 11 songwriters. And forget that. Let's just put in unlimited, okay? Once again, 255, we're confirming that's the maximum length. Cool, let's click Save those settings, and there we go. We've just added our first custom field. Okay, let's see what this looks like. If I go ahead and add this content and I click on the song content type here, what do we have? We've got the song title. There's this body. Man, this body's bugging me. I'm not quite sure what to do about that. But down here we say, hey, there's a songwriter. I could put, my name, Kathleen Farley, and then look, there's those instructions you wrote. Write the songwriter's name, first name, last name. Add another item. And we can say, Joe Smith. We can add another item, etc., etc., and we go on and on and on. Cool. Okay, so now we have a method to capture the songwriter's name. Good stuff. I'm closing that. I don't really need that open. I guess I didn't need to close the tab. So we'll just reopen that there. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and add some new fields, okay? How about performer? Let's do the same thing, performer. Name of the performer, okay? How are we going to store this information? Well, the name of the performer we're just going to type out, so that'll be just text. The widget is just going to be text field. Let's go ahead and save that, okay? So we're saving that, and maximum length of this field 255. Sure, that looks fine. Let's go ahead and click through here. Drupal is just plugging away, updating its databases. Okay, so performer required field. Sure, why not? Let's save that. Okay, enter the name of the performer. Okay, cool. Size 60. Sure, that looks good. Plain text. There's no default value. Number of values. Should we specify one performer? No, let's have lots of performers. Hey, you could have duets. You could have I'm sure you've seen performers, so-and-so featuring so-and-so. Yeah, let's have an unlimited number of values here so you can enter every single performer in here. Let's go ahead and click Save Settings. That was fast, wasn't it? Look at that. Now we've got songwriter, performer. Let's leave it at that for the time being. I'm going to let you play around with adding new text fields. Think of if there's any other text fields you can add, and then we're going to come back, and then we're going to start talking about the different types of fields that we can add to our song content type. All right? Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.